Welcome to another episode of Ruff Talk VR, a weekly podcast with in-depth game reviews, exclusive developer interviews, and the latest MetaQuest and virtual reality news. We join our hosts, the father-son team of D. Scruffles and Stratus today, as they spend another episode breaking down and discussing the world of virtual reality.
Hey, welcome to this episode of Ruff Talk VR. Coming at you with another edition of VR news. 2 weeks in a row. No events going on right now, but full warning, we do have one at the end of the month.
I feel like I'd rather be traveling the world, to be honest with you.
We're turning into world travelers. This summer's been so busy, but we're hitting our last trip of the year, I think. The end of this month, going to MetaConnect at the end of September, so I'm very excited for that. But until then, we'll be coming at you with our regular scheduled VR news, and then, we'll probably have some different programming that week. But, like I said, 2 weeks in a row now. And we're
on a roll.
Yeah, and we got a new setup with our news. No flashcards this week. We each got two cheap little burner laptops.
Burners?
Yeah, that's what I call them. I mean, they really can't do
gangsters.
They really can't do anything besides watch videos.
Used to be burner phones. Now it's burner laptops.
They're totally capable of watching videos, sending emails, documents.
It's perfect for what we need.
Anything
it's
more
monitor.
advanced? Yeah.
Teleprompter.
It's a monitor with a keyboard, basically.
Yeah, it's a teleprompter.
But now we have our notes like that. I remember last week you were struggling, and I've done it before, struggle with our own handwriting. So now that's
I have the
not
handwriting of a doctor.
So
I'll
now,
just leave it at that.
Now we can zoom in. We have all of our things with notes. Look at us, man.
I can read my own writing.
The show's getting more and more professional. We have a new studio upgrade coming soon as well, too. So the show's growing, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, we're world travelers and a whole
world travelers
and a whole bunch to talk about today. And, I'll kick it off with one that I'm so excited for because I love this genre of game. I'm going to talk about Shogun's Empire. It's a game that's kind of like Total War a little bit in VR on the MetaQuest. It's out now, dropped with no marketing, no heads up, nothing from HomeNet Games. And that developer, they're also the developer of Warplane, which makes sense because that's kind of how they drop all of their Warplanes games.
It's just kind of one day it's there.
It started with their second one way back when on App Lab, because you had just started playing the first Warplanes, and all of a sudden we open up our phone and we see there's Warplanes 2 out on App Lab, and I think they even dropped another Warplane since then with no marketing. Yes. That's just how they do it.
Not to my know. I didn't hear nothing about it.
No, they just kind of dropped their games out of nowhere. And Shogun's Empire, it's a turn-based strategy game, like I said, kind of Total War-esque. It's a VR adaptation of their previously made game called Shogun's Empire Hex Commander, which was available on flat screen, I think Windows, iOS, and Android. So I didn't play that original one. I was actually kind of excited to hear I can grab it on my phone as well. But in this one, you kind of manage a Shogun tribe, an ancient feudal clan in Japan, and there's 15 of them to choose from in different game scenarios as well. Some being more about, accomplishing a certain goal of control X amount of territories or build to this, or a whole bunch of different possibilities of game-winning conditions. And then there's a whole section of them that are just domination, of just try to conquer the whole map. And you kind of control things in like a... Would you say it's fair to describe it as like a board game style when it's in that kind of top-down management style?
Yeah, kind of like... I mean, everyone is used to it in flat screen. You're just getting it in that 3D perspective now. Mm-hmm. You can zoom up and zoom out and stuff like that.
Yeah, but you kind of control this board where you move where you want to go, and control some things with your controlled areas, like upgrading them, buying rice, selling rice.
There's a
controlling
market.
taxes.
Yeah, controlling taxes. It's like you're taking over you have to take over the whole country.
Mm-hmm. And then once you go into
form alliances.
Yeah, you can form alliances. It's kind of all the basic, resource and strategy management features that you'd expect in one of these turn-based games. And then at the end of the month, you get a certain amount of rice, certain amount of gold, and there's a cost associated with those depending on the size of your army. And then each turn you can move your army and try to, with the basis of it mainly being to take over the feudal map. You go and fight somebody, and then it goes into a full VR kind of troop management game mode. So it goes from this kind of like top-down board game style where you're controlling a piece across the map to, an actual VR control armies in a turn-based system. And each troop you can move a certain amount of movement spots depending on the terrain and their movement and their unit type. And then you end your turn, the enemy goes, you move your troops some more. And then there's, so many different troop types. There's samurais, there's cavalry, there's cavalry. I'm sorry. There's cavalry. There's people with guns. There's artillery. There's engineers to build barricades. There's kind of more support units. And each unit is strong against one type and weak against another. So you have to be smart with the units that you select for your army. You need a well-balanced army. Otherwise, you're going to have a weak spot. And then so it's very important, the positioning that you move the troops, the order in which you attack, which troops you send after each one. And the goal is just to beat down the opponent until they are either all dead or what usually happens is they surrender and run away. But I don't recommend letting them get away if you can, because then they just move to another territory that you attack. And then so one of the other territories can end up pretty beast just by the other enemies fleeing to it.
Yeah, I mean, at first I'll start off, say we paid for it.
$19.99.
Sent me a link. I was like, okay, I'm getting it. I'm not even going to sleep on this one at all. It's good. I don't think they threw anything out there that anyone who enjoys these style of games won't figure out, even with no real tutorial.
No, it's very simplistic, right?
Yeah, it's, again, if like you like these style of games, there's nothing that's going to be there that you won't go, oh, I've never seen this before, or I can't figure out what to do. But I put it in one of those categories of it's an easy game to actually learn, but man, it's a very hard game to master because, again, like you said, with enemies retreating, they give you a choice, like, do you want another turn or let them retreat? And it also will warn you that if you let them retreat, it's going to stack up, so they're going to go somewhere. And then, 4 or 5 confident missions down the road, you now see, you go to attack someone because you're just a dick. And that's how I got killed. I was fighting two different
front war
battles at the same time. It's like I should learn from history, not smart. And lo and behold, I'm now hitting the one that had all the retreating troops, and I was way outnumbered. Knew instantly before I even started and the map loaded, I'm like, I'm doomed. There's no way. To the point where I beat the shit out of most of the soldiers, but the general stayed.
That's been happening to me too.
Laid a whoop ass on what I had left, and I was like, are you kidding me?
Did you know killing the general doesn't instantly win it too? I killed the general and still had one horse.
Depends on how many are left on the...
If they want to keep fighting, they can. I mean, and they will. I've had one horse,
you gotta fight for the cause, right?
Dude,
So,
I mean,
it's
think
really
of it.
good.
If they have one territory left and you're the last unit, are you going to surrender? No, you're fighting to the death at that point. So that's how it goes. And I've lost a fight after killing the general. And yeah, I agree with this exactly what you said, because my first night playing it, I was like, this is a fun game, but it's so simple and it's so easy. And then my second night, I got my ass handed to me. So bad that I started a new save. That's kind of what I do in strategy games.
You almost have to a degree, because you need to learn, and then by the time you figure shit out, it's probably going to go south once you like start really learning, and then going, oh, okay. Just like the little tip of like, I mean, and they do warn you, so it's just buyer beware. It's like, don't let the people retreat, which means all the game strategy I've been using initially now doesn't work.
Yeah.
Because I was doing more of a front-on approach. Now I've got to do like trying to flank on the right and left, so that when someone does retreat, in a perfect world, it sounds like your kid's getting murdered.
I know
outside.
what's going on. Hold on. Yeah.
Oh no, they're just kids in the pool.
I wonder if it's picking up on our mic.
No.
Kids playing outside in the end of summer. What can you do?
Literally, it sounded like a murder.
I just hear kids screaming.
But I highly recommend the game if you enjoy this style of game. If you don't, and you're looking for like that real immersive, it's not going to be for you. But if you do enjoy top-down strategy meets, you know,
Like it's a Total War.
Yeah, like a Total War-esque type game, and go for it with a decent lore too. So
yeah, to me, it's just more evidence that turn-based and
Shogun.
that turn-based and real-time strategy games both they just work really freaking good in VR. This is so much fun. I'm hooked,
dude. Any one of them from flat screen,
and let's be real,
work perfect in VR.
The thing about restarting,
if you like that style of game. If you don't, you're going to be disappointed.
The thing about kind of failing on your first round and starting a new save, that's kind of iconic with these type of turn-based and real-time strategy games. That's what you do.
You want to, when you start figuring it out to that point, you've taken a sacrifice somewhere.
And
then the first time you lose, you're like, oh, now I need to start over because I know that's going to happen down the road. So yeah, 100%.
And they give you a tutorial, but it doesn't go fully in depth about like buying and selling rice and all that stuff and controlling taxes. And
no, they grease you through it.
It mainly just controls how to navigate.
Give you a warning like, hey, your tax is too high. People are going to get rebellious and shit. So you go, okay, I better lower it. I went down to like, I think it defaulted. It was at like a high tax rate for default. I went down to state tax, like 6%.
Oh, I keep mine as high as it needs to be to keep their rebellion at 0. You can even do an auto calculate where it'll automatically move each slider to.
I cut my citizens a good break.
Oh, I know. I keep that as high as it can be. That's how you get your rice and your gold per turn, baby.
I get it.
Milk that.
I'm taking more of the dominant, like the more I take over approach.
I mad milk mine, but
and the quick money.
This one's HomeNet Games, like I said, the Warplanes developers, $19.99 on the MetaQuest store. Sadly, as of right now, only has 2 ratings. That's wild, but that's what happens with no marketing and you just kind of drop a game. But holy moly, this one is fun. I'm loving it every second. So, you want to take the next one?
I hope so. It's not really news. It came out last week, but Hitman 3 VR Reloaded released. And it released with a vengeance. People are angry. A lot of creators I saw were posting comments. I didn't see really not one good one. And then, of course, I went through but last time I had checked on the MetaQuest store, it was a 2.4. So it is up to a 2.8. But it's got a 41% 1-star rating. That's almost 50 friggin' percent. 1 stars is pretty heinous. And it is developed and published by XR Games,
who also has Zombie Army VR coming out later this year as well.
Which, is concerning.
But Hitman 3 VR came out on PC VR a couple of years ago from an entirely different studio and had many of the same issues, which makes me wonder if it comes from the top down, like from the IP. Because I think that they tried
It seems to me like the best thing to have done would have been to have ground upped it if they tried to use anything. But
I think that's what they did. They created they used the custom Hitman engine.
You can't take shit and make it shiny. It's not going to work, dude.
Yeah, Hitman uses a custom engine and they recreated it from scratch for VR, which probably took a huge chunk of the development time. To me, it sounds like a thing that it just needed more time in the oven before it came out to the public.
I don't know, man. I even gave it the benefit of the doubt, and I was like, oh, I'll just wait for the patch update that's supposed to come out this week. And then I was reading that it's not going to be the fix-all, end-all. It's going to make it an absolutely better game. So, I mean, I can't talk from first-hand experience. I haven't played it. I'm totally going by what I've only been able to read. But it all reads pretty harsh.
Yeah, we missed getting access to this one, and I was pretty bummed at first, and then
I suppose I'm not now if it's really the truth.
Yeah, but we'll end up playing it, I'm sure. But this is one I'll let cook a little bit with updates before I hop in, and I think that's probably the smart thing to do as well. Let it kind of marinate a little bit more.
I don't know, man. I think the momentum on it is going to like halt quickly. I mean, because let's be honest, if you go to the store to buy it and you go, holy shit, it's got a 2.8.
41% 1 star is unfreaking believable.
I mean, I see that shit on an Xbox game. I don't buy it. It's like flat out. I'm like, there's a lot of Sims, dude. A lot of Sim games out there. And I read the reviews. And when I see shit like that, I'm like, I know that amount of people aren't lying.
No way.
Give even 10%. So, okay,
41%.
31%.
41%.
It's like, that's harsh.
Insane.
Yeah. And I can't, I've read like the written reviews, and it's like, it's not a campaign against the series or anything. The excitement for it was real, but we can't have good titles coming into the VR space and being fucked up. It's unacceptable.
It's one of the few things that I will agree that hurts the industry.
If you take the responsibility to take on a known franchise, it's like you're taking the full responsibility of that franchise in a space that it didn't exist. And I'm getting so tired of seeing it. Everybody says it. Everybody knows it. When big titles come into the VR space, they typically flop.
That's a bad reputation to have.
That's a shit. Yeah, because there's nothing enticing these other big name studios or franchises to be like, okay, let's make a move. It's like, I don't know how this is passing. Like, who, and I'll use
That's the thing.
Hitman.
MetaQA, sorry, but MetaQA has a strict QA. How did that pass this?
Let's take Meta out of the equation. It's like, how did you proudly sit around your studio and be like, this is great. Every developer loves it. It's like, I don't understand. Like, where were the people who tested it who were like, hey, these are like serious issues that we're complaining about.
Yeah, you guys need to delay this.
Would that have even made it better though? To fix all the things that people are complaining about?
People are saying, like, should Meta delist this?
You should hold it a year. I mean, it's sad because I fucking love the flat screen. The whole series, dude. It's great. It's like,
I remember you owning every one of them.
Yes, sir.
On Xbox.
So if we get a chance to own it,
I might just buy it this week.
I'm not going to buy it.
It's almost so bad I got to experience it.
I'm not going to buy it.
You don't want to support it?
I don't, when I know we could have gotten it from them directly for nothing. And I also know that if we didn't like it, I wouldn't be one of those 41% 1 star. I just wouldn't say anything other than we played it. But I wouldn't go on like a campaign of really, I mean, we'll let nature's take its course in this. You don't need my help.
But I agree with exactly what you said. When you take on a big IP like Hitman, you have a huge responsibility. That's the only thing that can bring down the VR industry is bad ports of major franchise titles.
I know Ben loves it that we bring him up every week, right?
Yeah, he made a joke
in
last week. He was like, damn, I'm hearing every week.
But I'll use him as an example, right? Because he comes from a true AAA flat screen studio, and he's now in the VR space, and he's got his hands dabbled in
trains him,
and it's like he knows
the importance.
Correct. So it's like there are studios out there that can help you truly bring a.
There were other ports this year, like, unfortunately, Lawnmower Sim didn't do the best at launch either.
No.
And that's like stuff like that. So, I mean, you can't bring over these ports and launch them not done.
I think it did better than this.
Than Hitman. Hitman, the only launch that I've ever seen do worse than Hitman was remember that golf app that dropped that was like less than 1 star app? Remember that? Yeah. Way back when? Yeah. Maybe like 2 years ago? That's the only launch I can remember that's done worse than this. And that...
I feel sad.
Yeah.
As a consumer and as a lover of the franchise.
Yeah.
And now it just, what kind of signal does that send for the next one coming out down the road? Yeesh.
Yeah. Hopefully they can recover with updates. We've seen games before make
there
a
is
comeback.
A possibility.
So if it comes back with updates, then that just means it needed more time.
They should just own it. Every single sentence, complaint, just own it.
And say, we're working on it.
What's the studio that didn't? I think they even put it in their game. Like, we know we screwed up. Blah, blah, blah.
Man, I don't
remember that though.
Yeah, but
they
cool.
owned it like in the freaking game. Like,
they put out an update trailer. Like they posted all the negative reviews.
Yep.
Oh, I don't remember. Shoot,
No Man's Sky. There's another great example.
Unbelievable.
Those developers went into fucking hiding because people were gonna kill them, dude. I mean, legit. Remember that?
They went silent for like a year.
People were posting at their This was way back when, too.
This is an example of gamers being too toxic. But
they're posting pictures of their studio and how they were there knocking on the doors and windows and nobody was coming out.
That's way too toxic.
I was like, holy shit, man. These people,
But now look at the game. They just added fishing last week.
Look.
And it's an unbelievable game.
It was never as bad as I was told. They always, dude, you had even when it launched, you had the whole universe to explore. So it's like, I get
I got done with the game in like a week.
Huh?
I was like done with it in like a week. There was like no
story. Because you were just done
to it.
of exploring. There was. So
I
never flat out hated it.
Yeah, I was pretty bummed on it at launch because I was so hyped for it. I never got toxic. I never sent anything public.
You were the reason I ended up being hyped for it in the first place. But it was an unrealistic amount of shit, dude, that they were claiming.
But now look at it.
Yeah, it's a totally different game.
So, it's possible Hitman makes a comeback. But as of now,
nah,
unfortunate.
This one's toast. I'll just say it. It's like even if it got fixed to like the highest degree, best optimization, best resolution, actual like arms that are, I guess you're just hands is my understanding. I don't know that 100% to be true, but you're not a body. I don't believe. Interactables is a huge issue. It's like, you can overhaul the whole game. You know how much money they probably spent already?
Yeah.
And now it's like, what are you going to do? How are you going to get that hype back?
It's tough.
Dude, Hitman 3's, GTA's coming, and then it flops. Then, how are you going to get the excitement back? How are you going to get me back? I love your franchise, It's a tough sell.
Can I go back and add one thing to Shogun real quick I forgot to mention?
Yeah, sure.
There's a free trial for it, too. If you want to try it before you buy it.
I don't recommend. Just buy the damn game.
Yeah. And rate it 5 stars, man. 2 ratings.
It's so easy. If it's your style of game, you're going to fucking love it.
2 ratings? So, onto the...
2 ratings cracks me up, though. Dude.
Yeah, I'm going to drop it a 5 star today. It's going to be 3 stars in about 20 minutes. About an hour.
You can dominate the rating board.
But nonetheless, and this next one's pretty cool. Into Black. It's an upcoming game that's going to feature a co-op campaign adventure. It's dropping next month, and it's the campaign's going to be fully voice acted with over 20 levels that you can also play alone or, like I said, with your friends in co-op. And then it's also going to have a different PvE mode to play co-op as well too. That's more like survivalish. So you don't want a story-based campaign. You would just want to go in and play some co-op kill shit with your friends. That's an option as well. But it's inspired by a series called Deep Rock Galactic, which has a cult following for co-op gamers on PC. So I'm hoping this one does really good. I'm hoping it's fun. I'm excited to get my hands on it. It's coming out next month in October. You can pre-order it now. The base price is $24.99, or you can pre-order it for 20% off, bringing it down to $19.99.
Well, the price is right on the money, and truth be told, I haven't played a good story-based co-op game. Yeesh.
Well,
in a long time.
I like Zero Caliber too. But that was just more arcade. It wasn't about the story that I liked. More
shooter than
that was more the killing the shit that I liked.
Most of the story you're not going to hear anyways because there's shit going on. But
boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, so I appreciate a good story-based co-op game because there's not a lot of them. So
yeah, I'm excited for this one.
So we'll see.
We watched the trailer for it. I didn't gather too much from it. So we'll see. At least it featured actual in-game footage, but it was kind of more just introducing you to the story, less so the actual gameplay. So I think this is one I just got to get my filthy paws on.
Yeah,
dive in deep.
I got a mental perception of what I think the experience is gonna be like, but I get it.
Mm-hmm. You're exploring a strange alien planet and mining its resources.
Sci-fi co-op story, so you don't have to say no more.
In the trailer,
assume there'll be some puzzles and shit that'll have to be done, and pretty cookie cutter as far as I'm planning. In
the trailer, there's a narrator that goes, there won't be any dangerous enemies here, which you already know as a gamer. You hear that in a game, like shit's about to get real freaking dangerous, right? So instantly the screen starts shaking, and the PV. Oh, actually, I'm sorry, I called it a PVE mode. It's a PvPvE. So that means you're going to be working together against other players. You're going to face off against 11 other players. Gathering as much loot as possible with a quote-unquote ever-shrinking maze. So, let's see. I'm excited for it, though.
Using that fan favorite
Battle Royale style.
Shrinking zone.
Yeah.
Every game. And I think Call of Duty was probably the first to really do it, right?
I don't know the history of Battle Royales enough to confidently say.
As far as the shrinking zones, I personally can't recall from my own personal experience without any fact other than what I know.
Somebody out there is going to be like, actually, in 1999.
Oh, good for them.
You know?
All right. This was just kind of some cool data that came out. And it only came out because the data itself comes from people who voluntarily offer their data to the Steam hardware and software survey, which I think everyone who uses Steam has seen multiple times in their lifetime because they will ask you if you want to participate. So what's cool is this is only based on the people who participate, not based on the actual true numbers. But Quest 3 is now used on Steam more than Valve Index and PSVR 2.
Mm-hmm.
So it appears based on the data.
Quest 2 still dominates the leaderboard.
They're in I think like the 31%.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty huge.
When you add up all the Quest headsets on the list, it's just about 50%, I believe.
Yeah, so I mean that was cool.
Well,
but you know the data's skewed because it doesn't include everybody. So I guess the real question is what percentage of people actually opted in versus not, and then you could probably fill in some blanks yourself.
But it's cool to see the Quest 3 climb that rankings as more and more Quest 2 users, I think, slowly convert over to the Quest 3, which is just a far better headset. Every time I've ever put on my Quest 2, since becoming a regular Quest 3 user, it's pretty brutal. And that's nothing to say anything negative about the Quest 2 in the sense that, like, I loved it. It was my first VR headset.
I'll say it.
I fell in love with VR.
It's not that great.
But I can't go backwards. The Quest 3 is just so great. So it's cool to see it climb. And we're examples of the Quest being a pipeline to PC VR as well, too. Like, I think Quest standalone, I think, creates more PC VR users in the long run as well, too.
It's possible, but eventually the technology of the standalone will
catch up enough.
Be equal to the... affordable PC VR options.
Well, look at the performance jump from just one generation of the Quest 2 to the Quest 3. Wait till we're on Quest 4, Quest 5, whatever years those are, 2030. We'll see, but I agree that eventually someday it will line up. So I think you did the last one, so I'll hit the next one. Man, I always don't know how to pronounce this word, if it's Orion or Orion, so I'm going to say Orion.
I would go with Orion.
So Orion Drift. It's a sci-fi VR sports game that's going to be made by the developers of Gorilla Tag. Another Axiom. They're going to be making their next game kind of with that same Gorilla Tag movement, but just in a sci-fi themed arena. And it's going to feature kind of Echo Arena-esque gameplay, it looked like, with this soccer game going on. But, there's going to be level
Soccer is
editor.
not played with your hands, sir.
Yeah, I don't know what to call it then. What would you call it? Handball?
No, because handball is
you
played
throw
against
and
the
catch.
wall.
Yeah, I don't know what to call it.
You bounce it against the wall.
But there's going to be a level editor. There's going to be a social hub that features up to 200 players simultaneously. So that's pretty intense. That's a lot of swinging sci-fi peoples going everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see how this one does. I don't know if it's going to be free to play or not. You had asked, and I didn't see that info available. But they do have a beta available now that you can, get access to or at least apply access to by joining their Discord and following the instructions there. So cool stuff to see another Axiom. Like I said, Gorilla Tag developers making a new game. One of the most popular games on the Quest Store. Come on, man.
They're one of the only studios that no one will ever complain about legs. Because their arm length is so long, you don't need them because they use that. But they've mastered that movement system. And it does appear to take place on a space station, where each different section is potentially going to be a new map, which you can kind of already fill in the blanks through that trailer. And it looks fun. I just feel bad for my ceiling fan because I already know I'm going to smack it.
This looks a little bit more up my alley aesthetically than Gorilla Tag, and just theme.
In theory, we'll see what happens when we play it.
And I'll say it all the time. Gorilla Tag's not my style. It's not my game. It's not my cup of tea. There are a lot of kids, everything like that, whatever. But you can't deny their success and how innovative and good they've been for the growth of VR.
No, they got a whole young generation strapping on headsets and Gorilla Tagging.
And we saw Yeeps from the developers of Gods of Gravity come out with a social VR game. Yeeps. earlier this year.
Dude, Yeeps is getting a lot of recognition.
That's what I'm saying. It's become one of the most popular games on the store. It's like always in the top played or whatever they say. Not top rated. I always forget the Quest Store official.
23 now? 24.
Who, Jack?
Yeah.
Dude, I saw him. He's on the list of the Connect talks. Speakers. And it says CEO. And it's just so funny. It's like, man, we talked to him, 3 years ago?
Yeah.
2 years ago?
With Gods of Gravity.
Just young bucks. Now look at him
giving this shit away.
Killing it with one of the most popular games on the store. So
that's a great example of the younger generation growing up with this, because he made that choice from app games in high school to
Gods of Gravity, then to Yeeps.
VR game, then now to Yeeps.
And they were really able to leverage their existing audience with Gods of Gravity to help, kickstart Yeeps. Well, so very similar gameplay to what another Axiom's going to be putting out. And I have very little doubt that they're going to be able to leverage their massive Gorilla Tag audience and following to help make this.
Because I think they have some true passionate players that love that game. And it's like, if, that'd be like asking you to not play your Star Wars game back in the day. You'd be like, no. I'm playing it again, a matter of fact.
Correct. There will be a subset that has no interest in going over, but I think that they're going to be able to take a percentage of what their several 100,000 member Discord, and some percentage of it is going to hop right in this game, and it's going to really help kickstart the audience size, I'm sure. So
I don't think they'll be, well, depending on their price model, who knows?
Orion Drift, coming from another Axiom. Like I said, developers of Gorilla Tag. I'm excited to see this one launch. And the initial,
I think it'll do well no matter what.
Man, I can't doubt them.
Just because, like you said, they have such a huge fan base anyway. So, but I don't know. Sports games are also kind of to me, a very tough.
Sci-fi.
Look at Nox. Nox is a great game.
Yeah, Nox was great.
Oh, no, that's right, Nox. But I don't really hear it talked about. Like, oh, I played a lot since or.
To me, that's
great game though.
That's the peak. That's the best VR soccer game I played. So it's so innovative with the arrow.
Yeah,
it's so.
It was good. We had some really good
matches with it. Yeah, hell yeah,
really good. All right, this is actually kind of exciting, but it's just only exciting because it kind of finalizes the deal that we all knew was coming anyways. But it appears that the Quest 3S has received the FCC certification ahead of Connect launch, which comes up in 2 weeks. So we can only assume we knew it's coming, right?
Yeah.
Everyone knows it's coming, but this just really solidifies the deal from the government standpoint anyways, which means the consumer should no doubt be.
Yes. The FCC says it can be sold legally. It can be sold now, right? As now a consumer electronic. I don't, it's funny. The Upload VR article said it expected Connect launch. I think historically, based off of the way Meta does their stuff, I think they'll announce it at Connect to launch in October. That's usually what happens. Usually they do October as a launch.
Just to gamble and just to put it in the universe, I'll say it will get.
Imagine if the next day after Connect it's for sale.
I will guess that it will be on the shelves or available to order.
Wow.
The second they might.
Available to order? Pre-order I could see, but I think
not pre-order for October. I'm saying. You can order it, and
that's where we'll fork away.
Yep.
Your guess is that. My guess is probably October 14th or whatever the second weekend in October is. So let's see though. Either way, it feels like it's coming very soon, right?
Gals might be able to get one in 2 weeks.
I'd be surprised if the end of the year comes and there's not a Quest 3S on the market with that. With the FCC certification. It coming up on MetaQuest store pages a couple months ago.
They got 2 weeks to finalize everything. If it was a done deal anyways, that they've already got the manufacturing, their boxes waiting to go.
Yeah, their supply chain is good, man. We were able to pick up our Quest 3 day of from Best Buy.
Now we'll have to see if you see anybody posting from their department store back rooms.
Because there's usually some leaks. I think we'll see.
You can't not, dude. It'll come on a pallet, but it'll say "do not open until."
And there's gonna be some 19-year-old kid that doesn't give a fuck.
There's no NDA broken with that, by the way. There's not, because it's as long as the pallet stays wrapped, and is not opened,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think any laws are broken by taking a photograph of it. You could stand at the delivery yourself, watch the truck get unloaded, be like, aha, 82 quests showing up on this week's shipment. Yeah. Would do not open on it.
It's a little suspicious.
That's a little suspect, my friend.
You start seeing empty space on the quest lot, like area on the shelves, they're making room for new product.
Yeah. So the signs could be there if in fact it will be day of or day after Connect launch.
Yeah. Well, we can speculate when exactly it'll come. It is without a doubt with FCC certification. It is coming very soon. So exciting stuff
to
ahead.
a face near you.
So this next one I am so excited for. Walkabout Mini Golf announced their next course coming September 12th called Mars Garden, which sounds so freaking cool. Walkabout Mini Golf in space? Hell yeah.
They do whatever they want.
They could do every planet.
I just want to sneak peek at their storyboard, like their
what's in the book in the works, man. So much potential with them.
I won't say nothing. You can hood me, spin me around, bring me to a secret location. Just let me look at it for a second.
On September 12th, dude, that's right around the corner. They do this thing where they announce the course and it's coming out in like 10 days, What
the beauty of them is like they do it all internally and they get it done right. So they can kind of do these like 1 or 2 week, here it comes. Aside from like the bigger promoted ones, like
their license courses usually have a little bit more spacing to it.
Well, yeah, and they do a great job of keeping like with Wallace and Gromit. They had that event in the UK, like months before it actually.
Right, and that one was announced like a year out as well, too.
Yeah, so it's like they know how to hype the big IPs and make sure all parties are getting their money's worth, and for their own ones, they know, dude, like
$3.99. I'm gonna grab it.
We give them 2 weeks. That builds enough internal hype for the normal consumer. Look what happens in our case. The minute it's out, boom. Amelia's going into Discord. She's posting a Friday night walkabout session because. And that's just our Discord, and we have more than enough to facilitate. I think sometimes they've even had to do 2 groups because they max filled the one group. So, I mean, dude.
And they do such a great job. Like, they've added new game modes and stuff, too. Like, simultaneous mode. I mean, dude, that's a game changer. That's the only way to play these days.
Oh, simultaneous?
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially for groups.
We can go through a round in, like, 15 minutes now, whereas like turn-based was much more.
Well, yeah, and because you're limited to you're only as fast as the person that went first, you know. So,
and then it doesn't matter who you decide to have go first. There's many times I will be like, dude, you want to go first on this one? It'll be like, yeah, sure, I think I got a hang of this.
And I've never like played simultaneous mode and just blazed through. I've always like there's always some holes I want to see how someone else does first.
Correct. Doesn't matter who won the last hole either.
No.
So it's cool stuff.
But I'm excited for Mars. All right, so this is a cool one. I'm kind of excited about. I really want us to be able to try this one. So right, please. So if I told you that it was developed by Moonshine Games, where do you think that would be based out of? Just based on
Louisiana,
the word, like Georgia, moonshine, going down to Kentucky, getting that moonshine. No, they're actually UK based. So there we go. But you work for, you're going to be working for a late night talk show as a stunt double. So you'll get to obviously be doing a bunch of cool different stunts and stuff under the name Joe McFlash. So it just screams fun. But again, Moonshine Games. What a great studio name.
Does that say that they've made games like Connor and Bobble Wobble?
Bobble Wobble.
That's a previous game of theirs, Connor and Bobble Wobble. So they're just a goofy studio, it sounds like, right?
Bobble
and
Wobble.
In all the good ways. When I say goofy, I don't mean that negatively. I love this type of silly stuff in gaming.
Bobble Wobble reminds me of Barbara Waters saying her name. This is Bobble Wobbles. Bobble Wobble. So, no, I'm intrigued. I love stunt driving, flat screen games. There was Stunt Driver. There was another one I can't remember the name of. So this should be cool. And it is coming out on the Quest. So
and in VR. I love these like Hollywood style games dropping, like this one, Action Hero from Fast Travel Games.
Go figure.
Yeah, they're it's funny how games just kind of without any correlation. Yeah, there's like people are just looking at like what's missing in the industry of VR, and two different people were like, how about these Hollywood style games? That's kind of funny. So cool stuff. So before we continue, it's that time of day. Patreon shout out. Got to give a shout out to our Patreon supporters. You know, the people that listen to us each and every week like you all do, but also decide to give us a little extra love with the Patreon side of things too. So a huge shout out to our Patreon supporters. Asim, Amelia, Carson, Earth Witness, Aspire Mike, Jake, Crispy, and Shoes. So thank you all for your continued support month after month. We have some other Patreon tiers as well, each with their own perks that are pretty cool as well. You know, on-air shout-outs, access to exclusive channels in our publicly available Discord server, your name across a rolling ticker on the bottom of the screen. So, you know, go check that out. And also, I gotta say, we are so freaking close to 100 reviews on Spotify. We're at like 97 or 98. So if anybody wants to be nice, you haven't reviewed us yet.
We're close.
We're so freaking close.
That's a lot. That's actually for a podcast. That's a good amount of reviews.
Yeah, I was doing some scoping around. I knock on wood. Maybe I'm wrong. I didn't see it. Not sound cocky. I didn't see a VR podcast with more reviews. We're not number one on Apple Podcasts. I think Voices of VR from Ken Bai, I think he has more. Mm-hmm. But I think for Spotify, I think we're number one.
Not too shabby.
Not bad. No. For reviews, I'll say.
Yeah.
So if anybody wants to help us hit that, drop us a 5-star review on Spotify. We're like 2 or 3 away. And Spotify added comments to their episodes now, too. So if you're a Spotify listener, you can comment on the episode.
That's actually a good mood.
Yeah, they did like a Q&A thing maybe like a year ago. That wasn't really the best. You know, you just ask questions who really, you know, you put like a question as the podcast host and then people can answer. It's not the best for engagement, right? Whereas people commenting is that's a cool possibility to have. So drop us a 5-star review on Spotify, on Apple, whatever you listen on.
Might be that lucky 100.
Come on, man. That'd be really cool. You know, subscribe on YouTube, comment. Commenting is great for the analytic monsters, the analytic gods that love that stuff. They like all the likes and the comments and the shares and the subscribes and all that type of engagement. So if you want to be so kind, you can always do that stuff. And other than that, stay tuned for week after week of VR news, VR interviews, all that stuff. We're going to kick off our interview season again pretty soon with some fun ones coming up. So stay tuned for that as well. And
never not someone to talk to, which is good. So I'm excited to start doing more of those again.
In the VR industry, no shortage. There's new people entering it, like Ben, who came in the last couple of years. Then there's people that we could talk to every week, like Scott, like Robin. Geez, we got Spoon. We should check in probably with Doug North Cook soon, as Creature's done so much since the last time.
Spoon was probably a one and done.
Yeah, well, I still don't believe that we actually did it. Like you said,
I don't think.
You think you said it last week. You don't think it was him.
Wouldn't it be fucked up?
Yeah, told a friend to go on and pretend to be me.
Finally do an in-person meet and be like, who are you? Like, I don't remember seeing you. You're not that dude we saw. That'd be awesome, dude. Just made a friend sit there.
Hilarious. He has like, hair down to his knees or something like that.
I'm gonna say it was
dreadlocks.
definitely him we spoke to though.
Just because of voice.
He knew too much.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, man, really, you're going to spend that much time telling a friend what to say and knowing exactly everything about your shit? I just don't see that.
And the voice was the same as when we did our nice little tutorial session with him.
Yes.
And Grim. So that would be a hard thing to fake at that point. But I get your point.
Dude, Grim is the shit.
Yeah, I'm so excited to go back in next week. I mean,
it's just so good.
We were playing a bunch this week, including, like I said, the Shogun turn-based game earlier. And then also, we tried out Requisition VR as well, the game where you can kind of put together anything with duct tape, which there's some limitation.
Dude, I played Microsoft Flight.
Yeah.
VR.
How did you like that?
With ultra graphics.
How'd you like that?
Flying a 747 from JFK to Tampa. Come on, I fucking love it.
Do you know how trippy that is? I remember you playing that in like the blockiest graphics when I was a kid on whatever edition of Windows back in the day. It
always stressed machines. You always, to get the best out of it.
Because it's a whole freaking globe.
But do you know the smile on my face when it loaded up and then...
You're in the cockpit?
It was like, no, and it was like, based on your computer, we recommend these graphic settings. And I'm like...
Ultra?
Really? we can handle this.
No performance issues?
No, I had the occasional glitch with VR where it would kind of like glitch.
Jitter.
But if I look to the left out my cockpit window, it would just smooth right out. But there are, keep in mind, I just went in raw.
Mm-hmm. No setting
changes.
Yeah.
And if you Google settings for VR and you're going to get a litany of them. Like, man, there's a lot you can really do to make it better.
It's supposed to be horrendous on machines to run in VR, but it doesn't sound like you had too much of an issue, which is a great sign.
No.
Next challenge, No Man's Sky. Let's see about that one. But Microsoft Flight Sim, you were able to check it off.
Yeah, it was awesome to be able to do. So now I'm going to bring out my flight stick now that I know shit's getting real.
Well, we're going to play Star Wars Squadrons in VR, and I booted it up last night in VR, ready to play, and then I didn't realize it doesn't work with VR touch controllers, as zero logic as that is. So you got to use either a game controller or keyboard and mouse or a joystick.
It's too bad they don't give you... There might be a way to bind your controller.
Maybe I was trying
as a controller.
I was looking at, they had like custom bindings available made by other players, and I was trying to attach those and it wasn't working.
Okay.
So I was like, I just need to research more. But at that point, why not just use a controller, right? You can just sit right here, we could play it tonight, now that I know I need a controller.
I mean, dude, even if just because you're getting better graphics and stuff, it's like, I don't like with Microsoft Flight. It's like, am I upset that I can't play the whole game with my controllers? No, I'm used to flying on flat screen with my flight stick. So it's like, if I know I can have that in my hands, and if I remember, I have like 12 preset buttons normally you'd have to hit on the keyboard to activate shit and stuff. So it's like, then it was cool because you can physically do anything in that cockpit.
I got to just get a joystick, and then I got to get a wheel and pedal. I already know I'm going down the rabbit hole.
Wheel and pedal and
for racing games?
For racing?
Yeah, because there's a couple of good VR ones on PC VR. So
I love good racing, dude.
So I think we got to. That'd be fun to do together. And then, my last one was actually a Walkabout news with Walkabout's, next course, Mars Garden, coming September 12th with their normal kick-ass price of every DLC. And then also, Upload VR was teasing that their iPhone edition, which came in beta, I remember you playing it in my kitchen a couple months ago.
Yeah, it's still in my phone.
But the full launch of it is coming soon to the App Store on iPhone. It's not out yet, but if Upload VR is putting out these articles, really hyping it up, saying it's coming soon, I'm figuring it's coming real soon. And they gave a nice article of it. They really break down how it works, tips of how to use it. So cool stuff. I'm so excited for that.
It's fun. But
it's hard.
Yeah, it's a lot easier in the VR space, for sure. But it is cool that you can actually do it. So that if you're a Walkabout fan, it's kind of like it's a must own, only because you can take Walkabout on the road, play it anywhere. But I'd love to see it come to flat screen, dude. I'd love to be able to play it on my Xbox and have it cross-platform, so that if you don't have access to your heads, whatever the case.
And it's Walkabout, so who cares if one side has a competitive advantage or whatever?
Dude,
it's just about having fun.
It's one of the rare occasions where I'd want to make sure I had a decent headset and mic to play an Xbox game, where there's no real reason for me to ever have a headset and a mic. Oh man, it reminds me of the day when I had the 360 and the Kinect and all that shit set up to it, and I was playing Grand Theft Auto Online.
Not realizing you had a mic on?
And I was talking shit. We're playing like some mini game against other people. It was some flying thing. And I was kicking ass, dude. I was just talking so much shit. Tracy was there. And then I started hearing people in the background. I wasn't paying it much mind because all the shit talk. And then I started hearing what they were saying. It was all this bad shit about me. But dude, I crushed it. Just totally won the race. I don't know why that kicked in, but that's funny.
No, I agree. I would love to see
Walkabout. Yeah, cross-platform, baby.
Same with Demio. It's on PlayStation 5. I'd love to see
it. Not on Xbox.
I'd love to see on Xbox, just so it's accessible to even more players.
I feel like any time I've ever brought that subject up too, I get a very political brush off.
See it on Nintendo Switch. That would be awesome. Same with Walkabout. I'd love to see Walkabout on all those platforms just so it would be even easier to play with all my friends.
Being the social experience it is, and knowing that Xbox owners would just be as social as the VR owners, because you kind of have to be.
Dude,
it's like part of the game.
Peak social gaming.
So, wow, that could be a game changer.
And we were playing Walkabout last week, and I was flying around, and I was like, it is so aesthetically beautiful in its own unique way.
Dude,
they just crush it with lighting, and
they're in nobody else's lane.
Yeah, they're freaking top tier gaming. Those crazy coconuts. So cool stuff from Walkabout. And then the next one,
that would be myself.
Yeah.
Although we could talk about Walkabout
all day.
Easy, yeah. How long do you want us to talk? Just let us know. This is short and sweet. Part of Beat Saber doing singles now, which is weird. So it's a shock drop Eminem's Houdini song. So again, Beat Saber going more of that
NSFW with their language, explicit lyrics,
borderline,
and they do warn you it's explicit.
Yeah. So wasn't their
Tupac one,
their hip hop one?
Yeah, their hip hop one.
Kids be learning.
That was a really fun song pack though.
I mean, I'm biased. I don't care if it's their freebie electronic music. I mean, there's a couple.
Love Beat Saber.
There is a couple I don't own, I will admit. And, Lady Gaga's not one of them because I own that one too. I love their product. They do a good job. And I always love seeing how they made the song, in my opinion, so much better quality sounding wise.
That's something you've commented before. If there's a song released on Beat Saber, it's going to be the best sounding version of it you've ever heard.
Yeah. They could easily just, they should just print and sell it digitally on the side.
I've noticed that
99 cents.
It's kind of like the same thing when you're using the Meta Ray-Bans listening to music. I'll hear details of the song that I never even heard with headphones on before. I don't know if you've experienced that with the Ray-Bans. The audio is just so crisp.
Audio's good.
And spatial. It's the same thing in the Quest 3 with Beat Saber. It's like you're playing Beat Saber, just the whole bass with it just being, all around your head, if that makes sense.
I'm sure if you tried, I still want to get my paws on bone conduction because there's no better way.
Yeah. So huge stuff from Beat Saber, though. I think it's a great direction to go. I mean, if they start doing the single song drops, there's a whole potential.
Well, not if it's shock drop. You're kind of limited. Next month is NWA.
I think shock drop just sounds.
That's not true. I just made that up.
I think that's just a name that they would prefer to use than shadow drop, like we often say.
Well,
instead of shadow drop, call it shock drop.
We'll see when they drop something that's not a true shock as far as lyrics.
Maybe that's why they called it that. Is that what you're kind of getting at?
Yeah,
because it's explicit.
Yeah, it's not Elton John.
No,
it's
a good point.
Yellow Brick Road. Although he'd be a great one, dude. He's got same thing with David Bowie, Pink Floyd. Oh my God!
It would be
the whole "Shine on You, Crazy Diamond."
Dude, it would be two hilarious song packs from Beat Saber. A ICP song pack and also a Die Antwoord song pack.
Dude,
you would buy both of those
in a heartbeat, depending on ICP, depending on which one. If they did Great Malenko song pack and shit, I'd be all over it.
Imagine Die Antwoord out there too.
Why not?
Those would be so fun to do. Die Antwoord would be fun. I can't deny. ICP and maybe not as much my jam, but I remember when Die Antwoord came on the scene.
Shit.
Remember when they came on the scene? Remember when they burst out of nowhere?
Scene. Yeah.
But remember when they first burst out of
wedding
nowhere?
Singers to that's the hidden known details. They're not really what you think, but they're crushing it, dude. My only beef with them is they typically they'll do Miami, when they come to the States, they usually do the Miami festivals and shit.
Mm-hmm.
You very, very, very rarely ever, I don't think never see them in Boston.
No, why would you? Would you?
Well, not if I didn't have to, but for people like me who would pay money to see them.
Yeah, they're probably a fun show. They'd be a great
Beat Saber
song.
They never come close. I've always wanted to go to their show.
So that's the thing with Beat Saber is that they can just do they can do anyone
now, man.
They can do anyone.
You're the one who first introduced me to them too.
Dude, I was
way
in
back.
I was in like 9th or 10th grade, and that shit came out. I was like, "What the fuck?"
You sent
is
me
this?
a message. You go, Dad, you want to hear something really weird? And you sent me you didn't just send it to me. You sent me the link to the video.
You got to. That's half the experience
of Ninja there.
I think it was Enter the Ninja. I think
Enter
it was
the
called.
Ninja. Yeah.
Like
And I
9th or 10th
remember
grade.
seeing and watching it and being like,
What in the fuck?
what am I watching?
What am I listening to, and what am I watching?
And I heard it once and was hooked, and then went on iTunes and bought the whole collection of shit. And I'm like, wow, this is a good freaking South African band, man. Fucking A. But they got the whole character. They're doing their thing.
I'll plant some seeds if anybody at Meta happens to listen. At least you can at least sell one copy of the Dying Word song pack. You'd probably sell more. And an ICP one too.
Yeah.
Too funny.
I'm sure there's ICP fans that own headsets.
Beat Saber with endless possibilities of what they could.
That's a home run one though. That's you want to go true shock drop, get rich bitch. It's another good song.
And then you could go completely different direction and do a nice Jimi Hendrix pack that they don't have one of those. That would be fun. That would be wicked fun in Beat Saber too. So Beat Saber, man, endless potential, a cash cow for Meta, no doubt. Yeah, right,
Where
dude.
you going with that gun?
Oh man, you could have so much castles made of sand.
Yeah,
so much fun.
Under the watchtower, dude. It just doesn't end.
So cool stuff.
Got me wanting it really bad, man.
Yeah. And then in other news, developer Rizil, who formerly made Rizil Player, which was a VR sports game.
I remember that.
Right? It was actually a pretty fun one, too. They did challenges. They did like cash prize giveaways, too.
I knew a creator back then who cleaned house in that.
It was just going ham. So,
who has now left the VR scene.
Oh, well, that happens. Well, they announced that their next game is going to be an official Premier League game. Premier League like soccer. Football, as most people would say internationally, is going to be coming out in late 2024. And not much is really known about the game with, release day or price or anything like that, but it's an officially licensed Premier League VR game. That's huge. Premier League soccer is, dude, internationally, massive. Maybe not in America, but worldwide.
Look, they got hooligans in other countries. It's so big.
So
people who will go with the intentions of just starting trouble. That's how big it is.
They had soccer in Rizil Player, but I think it was just heading the ball, if I remember correctly.
It was, yes.
So I'm curious what this is. Is it going to be full soccer? Is it going to be specific, like goalie? Like what? I don't know anything about it yet.
When feet tracking is like just spot on, then you're going to see like the true FIFA come out. There's no reason for it to now. Why jank it down when we're so days
close
away from the ability to be able to like pretend and do actual soccer footwork? Come on. With what I did with salsa dancing, they could teach you that in soccer too.
So that was a cool one.
Sorry, football.
That was definitely a cool one though.
Football. We don't play soccer in this country. We play football, okay? Just putting it out there. Although if you sell it as FUT ball, it ain't selling shit.
That's why I think they just call it. They're just
y'all's better call that soccer,
dude. I just saw a Premier League game. I don't even know if the exact title will probably be Premier League VR or something. If they were smart, don't start to cross the soccer football. You're gonna start to. Somebody's gonna end up upset. Because Premier League is good.
A great VR game.
What's that
for sports? Lacrosse, dude.
Lacrosse would be a fun one. Absolutely.
I had 7 years of lacrosse.
Paintball, airsoft.
That could be done too. And if you didn't cradle, the ball falls out.
Yep. You could sell VR accessory with that easy too.
Damn, dude.
Paintball.
Oh, yeah, dude. Easily. And have the controller at the end of the stick.
VR laser tag would be really fun too.
They already have
VR
that,
paintball.
More or less.
VR airsoft. Oh, you mean every freaking first person shooter?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, we played Contractors.
They'll have one where you can climb and fly, bro.
We played Contractors co-op zombie mode again for the first time in ages.
Yeah, that was fun.
That's always been my favorite part of Contractors, besides the mods. Somebody did tell us to check out Star Wars Battlefront 2 mods.
We did.
And,
it wasn't bad.
No, but I can definitely see why you want to play with other people.
But I wanted the ability to ride shit.
Yeah, you wanted Star Wars Battlefront 2.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
From the get-go, man. But I'm happy that person posted that because we went in and played a whole night of Star Wars shit, and then went back and we're like, let's just for nostalgic reasons, let's play the zombie one, man.
And it was wicked fun. They have an actual new official,
and the original one,
yeah,
that one as well.
I think I like the original survival co-op mode more.
Yeah,
because you're shooting other people with guns. Man, I'm kind of itching to do it again. So that's
the
cool
zombie
stuff.
run.
Yeah,
why not?
All right, you want to take the next one?
Of course I do. So coming at you hot from Wanda Dev Studios, the makers of, I think as you told them into their face, the best ever song for rhythm games, which would be Valhalla.
Yep, in Ragnarok.
Hallelujah, hallelujah. So they did Ragnarok as well as Propagation Paradise Hotel. They're coming out with a card-based game where it looks like you're going to have...
It's called an auto battler, whatever that means. I don't know that term too well.
Yeah, so I mean, the way I'm interpreting it based on the cinematic game footage that we sat through, as well as a brief little clip of actual in-game, that you will have a deck of 20 cards, and you will place troops down on a board. I'm thinking based upon these cards, not 100%. I am 100% on board with owning this, though, because this just screams it's going to be fun, and then your placed armies will then fight until there's only one.
I wish I could just watch a video of one match go down, because then I feel like I would understand it 100%. Just off of one match. I just need to watch one match of it.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't even say what it was called, did I?
Oh, maybe not.
No, I did not. I just said who made it. It's up to you to figure out what it's called. If you know, you know. Vestiges. Fallen Tribes.
And it's going to be on just flat screen PC, but with
PC VR Auto Battler.
Yeah, well, no, it's going to be on PC, like flat screen, but with PC VR support.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see if one day it comes to the Quest, but it's mainly a flat screen game. It just with
From
VR.
what I saw, I don't see why it couldn't be ported,
no.
Unless I'm missing something with the gameplay that you'd be like, oh my God, that'll never work on a Quest 3. But
yeah, I had the same feeling.
I'm quite confident based on the studio themselves that we'll see this. I mean, both of their games are on the Quest 3.
Well, I remember,
or on the Quest line, so why wouldn't this?
I remember when they first announced it, I was a little bit like, what the hell? Because it was announced as just flat screen only. This is the first time I've heard anything about VR support, but it's PC VR only. You know, you just go into VR mode like you would with Star Wars Squadrons.
What I do like about it is that means we'll own it both for flat screen and VR mode. So that is also kind of cool. I kind of like that feature as long as the VR part of it works well. But seeing what I saw, it's like, why wouldn't it? You know, look at Cards and Tankards. It's like, you know, Cards and Tanker on steroids, really. But I do like the line that takes place in a tribal sci-fi universe. Mm-hmm. Those are two words you never see together. Tribal sci-fi. You know what I'm saying? Like, how can something be tribal and sci-fi?
And again, I'm not familiar too much with the term auto battler. I know card game. I know.
No, auto battler is once it's set and you hit play, there's no, you have no hand in it.
You have no input.
It's done. Mm-hmm. It's now going to play out how you set it to play out. Mm-hmm. And good luck to you and Godspeed.
This one has potential, dude.
But again, I trust Wanda Dev Studio wholeheartedly.
It looked really.
I'm very excited, and I can't wait to say how it is. I honestly can't.
Yeah, I'm so excited for this one. So this next one is cool too. It was previously announced Bomber Drone VR was the original name, and it's now rebranded to a new title, Skyrunner, and they've also added a new track editor game mode, and it was cool. It was featured on Upload VR as kind of their best mixed reality games list. So I remember we tried this one as Bomber Drone at Gamescom at the home of XR booth, but now it's rebranded. The drones look different. Whole
drones
new title,
are pretty damn good.
Same store page listing.
Oh, lie.
Cool too, so that's cool, and it's a Flat to VR Studios backed game. They're acting as a publisher on it, so that's cool. So this one's it.
The one thing I didn't ask when I played it was if you'll get to see it from drone point of view.
Oh, that would be cool. I have no idea. That would be really
you know
cool.
How they do have a lot of drones that you are compatible with VR headsets because you can fly the drone via the drone's point of view with it. Especially those drone racers, man. Those things are crazy. So I never asked though, and I forgot to. But if it's not a feature, it'd be a great feature for that game.
For sure. So it was kind of silently rebranded too from Bomber Drone to Sky Runner, but it was cool to see that Upload VR still picked it up. Don Hopper, who was a content creator, and he recently started working at Upload maybe like 6 months ago, a year ago. He's really sounded like a big fan of this game. I remember him hyping it up quite hard on Upload VR's podcast.
Dude, there's a handful of very successful flat screen drone games. One of them being drone racing, which you just wouldn't think would be that fun without actually flying the drone. But in VR, I mean, even if the drone is fake, you're really flying it. So
and Skyrunner,
and you're there. It's not mixed reality too, I believe. Yes,
Skyrunner kind of, I guess, has more potential with the title than Bomber Drone, which kind of locks you in a little bit more to combat
bombing
narrative. Whereas Skyrunner, you can do a whole bunch of drone activities, right? That's kind of my feeling on it. So let's see. This one's cool. Cool though.
Drone activities. What you'll be doing though is not the norm of like drone operation.
No, well, I think when I played it at Gamescom, I like put out a fire.
Yeah, you pick up a hose and put out a building fire.
So right off of there, I was like, okay, I see the way that this could go.
Dude, it was weird when like I moved my drone towards the crowd and it was actually in the crowd. And for a second, I was like, oh shit. This propeller device, using it outdoors would be insane.
I think I might have the most fun in a game like that and just a free play, like a sandbox mode.
Not having to be a timed thing.
Just like,
and there could be, but it's definitely one that if you like drones, it's a no-brainer.
So Skyrunner is the rebranded Bomber Drone game, you know, now with a track editor game mode as well too. So that's cool.
Pretty neat, man. So this is weird only because of the time of day, but it's still news, right? Some of us will be sleeping, especially
most of us.
Our West Coast folks. Oh no, already be out heading to work. HTC will unveil their next Vive headset on September 18th at what is 8 o'clock Eastern time.
I'll be up. I'll be up too.
5 a.m. Pacific time.
If I was on Pacific time, I might not be up.
So if you want to set your alarm clocks for 4:45 a.m. on the Pacific time,
or just
then you'll boom.
Or you can just carry about your day and wake up on normal time and see
just
whatever.
To look at a picture and be like, okay, I already saw the leaks.
And just see whatever.
Going back to bed.
Or you can just wake up normal time, sleep in nice, and then wake up
8 a.m., baby.
And read whatever enterprise headset was announced that you can't afford. That's $1,500 over consumer price or whatever.
House mortgage headset. I don't know.
Is going to come out, you know. So we'll see, but stuff.
I did waste that $4,000 on that Apple decoration I have on the shelf over there, but whatever.
Hey, you know what? I think that was peak of headset pricing that I hope at least.
Hope there's a lesson in there somewhere for someone, but who knows?
I still find it funny how crucified the Quest Pro was for launching at $1,400 and then later dropping to $999 as being way overpriced. And then Apple comes out with $3,500, you know, 4K after taxes. And it's just like, yeah, but it's Apple. It's normal.
For fancy sunglasses. You know.
Hey, cool stuff. That
you can work with it.
They do have some good stuff. Hey, I mean,
although I've heard it's not comfortable to wear for long periods of time.
But I do got to give I mean, I know what you're going to say. Is it worth 4K? Definitely not. But I mean, their avatars that they have going are very nice. Their social VR limited gaming system that they have available with those social avatars are cool.
Now they're out there crushing it.
Would I pay 4K for it?
Said.
No, but you know, at least they're doing something.
But at least if you did pay $4,000, you have something to do.
You have Resolution Games game room to play, which selfishly I do want on the Quest 3 so bad.
Since day one.
I want to play it with my Meta avatars.
I can't see why they got the exclusive. Like Apple said, okay, we'll let you have these games, but we can be the only ones.
I think that's a game that should come with Quest headsets. That's how, because I think it would help with it would help with headset retention.
You're not going to get motion sick.
I use the example of being a kid and playing Solitaire and Minesweeper and Microsoft's pinball game and stuff like that. That helped me lock me in as a kid into being a computer user, if that makes sense.
Dude, and every time you got a new version of Windows, you'd always check those games to see how much better they got.
The fact that there's not an equivalent of that on Quest VR headsets is kind of a missing point. And I think Resolution's Game Room app would be exactly what the doctor asked for. That might have been the first time ever we've looked at each other and both been like, we need a bathroom break. It's a long episode. My eyes were going to turn yellow in a moment if I kept going. So we needed a quick little break right there. But we're back. And who left off on the last one?
I
think it was me with the...
No, I did HTC's unveiling at 5 a.m.
Oh, yeah. Freaking 5 a.m. headset, man. Headset announcement? That's craziness. But this is a cool one. Quest version 69, which hey, giggity. The next cool one, we've got like a couple hundred updates away till version 420. So enjoy version 69 while it's here, because for us childish people, it'll be quite a while till we get another funny one. But they announced what's going to be coming on that version headset, on that version update, which is going to include free window positioning is no longer going to be in the experimental settings. So you don't need to go in the experimental settings and turn that on. I think you updated to it last night or the other night because you commented that you instantly had 3 windows available to you.
I have 3 windows, and I can take them out of the window and put them wherever I want.
Correct.
Put them back in the window.
Which is a nice quality of life thing.
Yeah, it's funny because when it was only 2, I was like, no big deal.
Mm-hmm.
But now that it's 3, I'm like, this is kind of a big deal.
Yeah, now, I mean,
I kind of like it.
Multitasking is going to have some real potential. And on multitasking, they also are launching what they call seamless multitasking, which was available on public test channels previously. But you're going to be able to use a 2D window while in a VR app. So previously, if you opened up the Oculus browser or something like that while in your VR app, it would pause the game. Like you couldn't play the game while, browsing the internet or whatever. Now you can open up a window while in an app and potentially, watch YouTube, Netflix, or something like that as well. Or play a browser game in 2D while you play a VR game as well, too.
Yeah, good luck with that.
No, I would use it more for screen-on-screen watching stuff, but it's cool that now that's an option, because that's something I've talked about for a while wanting to do.
Mm-hmm.
And now you can do it on I'm surprised that the headset can do it with no performance issues. I'm curious how it's going to work on like more heavy performance games that are already kind of like pushing your headset to the max. Let's see how adding a 2D window with video does. But I mean, if it's gone live,
I think they always have a little bit of resource dedicated though for the system itself. So it's like, it's just maybe a matter of just Meta allowing for that percentage to be
used for that, or they've gotten it optimized so well, the browser system or whatnot. But it's cool that that's now live.
Mm-hmm.
And now there's spatial audio for the 2D windows as well, too. So your 2D windows that you're watching will play spatial audio in the headset. And then there's Bluetooth quick pairing, and then they launched a new home environment as well, too. So version 69 is bringing some cool stuff to the public channels.
Yeah, man. I mean, every month it seems to be a new update of some sort. So.
Oh my goodness, their rate of innovation.
Sometimes graphical improvements, pass-through improvements, sound improvements. It's always there's some quality of life in there, usually every time. This time I'll say the highlight for me would be the 3 windows though.
Well, just because that was in your face right away.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to avoid.
It was the first thing you said.
Picture in picture, there has been times where I wish it existed just based on, you're playing a sit-down game or some shit. You can get away with it.
Maybe you're
not going to do that in Ghost of Tabor.
No.
Grim, you could if there's not a lot of people in the server because it's only testers right now.
We're playing Demio or we're playing the Shogun game. Like, hell yeah.
Yeah, you could in Demio for sure.
Tropico.
Anything that's turn-based. Yeah, fair enough. Tropico, just make some money while you just watch 5 minutes of shit.
Don't you feel like that Shogun game would work great PvP?
It could.
I think it could.
It could.
I think it would be a blast.
Especially with a world map.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's a lot of questions of like, they're going to have it so that if a player bounces off, that
counts as a loss.
Just doesn't counts. Some people don't care.
Mm-hmm.
But, meaning like, you just lost troops to this spread and they just disappear. There's nothing there. It's like, you have to like...
I've played competitive online games that if somebody disconnects, it doesn't count as a win for you. You know how frustrating that is?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's like they'd have to have it set that if a player bounces, the NPC takes over with the exact amount of stuff that person had, so that your reward for killing them is still. I don't know if they'll do that.
When the first EA Sports UFC game came out, my friend used to watch me play it, and I would play as Daniel Cormier in heavyweight division, and I would wrestle fuck people for either 3 rounds or 5 rounds. And what would always happen would be the last minute, because dude, I cage fucked them. And just absolutely destroyed them for 20 minutes. And at 24 minutes of a 25-minute fight, they'd quit. And it wouldn't count for anything. 24 minutes of my life gone to not even get the online game win. Yep. So I think it's very important that for any competitive game, somebody disconnects, that's a loss for them, a win for me.
There has to be some reward for it because you're going to lose troops.
But I can already think of how it would do. You would allocate, all right, you each have $1,000 to spend. Because when you buy troops in the game, it's by money, right?
I don't think they're going to do it.
So here's your $1,000. You each buy. I know. I'm speculating. Just having fun. So you each, you have so much money to each spend, like Demio battles, and then you go to war with each other. That'd be a lot of fun. So, nonetheless, you want to take the next one?
If you were, but then they'd have to have the guarantee that like you're not picking the same troops. It's always good to fight like different. Otherwise, wouldn't it just be equal battles?
If both of you pick the same troop setup?
Yeah.
Well, then it would just come down to how you each strategically play.
So you'd have to have it like once somebody picks a certain clan, that's it. And you have remember like, what was the game that it would be like, all through time and like you could be World War I, World War II.
Age of Empires?
It might have been, yeah. So something to that degree.
No, Age of Empires was way back, I think.
You know what I'm talking about, though. Yeah, that's a tough one. Maybe a ground upper, though.
Well, I don't think it would be too much of it because there's like 20 different troop types in this, so the chance of you both picking the same troops, I feel like is unlikely. And then if you did, then it's okay. Then it just comes down to how you actually play it,
how you moved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But let's see. It might not ever even work for networked multiplayer.
I am liking the way it is set up, though.
Yeah.
Like I don't have any like. I guess it would be a selfish one, I guess, right? Or co-op.
But there's co-op would be fun.
Take over the world in teams.
Mm-hmm. We always have. That's always a wish for us. I hope that one day we see like a Mount and Blade type game to Quest VR. I know there is one for PC VR. PC VR, I think it's called like Tales of Glory or something like that. But I'd love to see some type of game with that type of gameplay loop on Quest standalone VR someday. So, unless you want to take the next one, I think we each got. I got one more. You got 2 more. I got one more after.
So if you ever wanted to be a bartender in VR, which I know there was a futuristic kind of one I played before.
Oh, I remember that one.
Remember it? Yeah. So if you want to be a bartender, there is a new VR bartending game coming soon to a headset near you called the Mixologist. And take it for what it sounds like. You're going to mix drinks. I'll assume some goofiness.
I think the name is pretty self-explanatory. They did a great job there, right?
Yeah, it's like, well, if you're a mixologist, you make drinks. Just like barista. If there's a game called Barista, guess what you're probably not doing? Making gin and tonics. But
look, if I go into this game and I'm serving freaking hot dogs, I'm going to be lied to, right?
Yeah. I'll gamble that it's probably more on the silly base, not so much on the factual base of like liquid measurements and hey, Reggie came back. He heard mixology. He's like, I'm the ultimate dogology. I don't like your
bumping into the coffee.
My coffee, though.
He was on a kayaking trip. He went kayaking.
Yeah. What's up, Reg? Come on.
So he's bursting in. He goes, oh, yeah, these boys are still recording.
Like, you guys are soft. But yeah, Mixologist, I'll try it. Sometimes the repetitive, even the food games. But I want to see what the fun factor is going to be because I'm pretty sure there's going to be some fun factor to it.
Yeah, I'm excited for this one.
Yep,
for sure. So my last news is just a bunch of upcoming games through September. I even asked you, like, should I list October? You're like, nah, dude, save that for at least next week. But there's a loaded bunch of stuff coming the next 2 months that I am so freaking excited for. But through September, we're going to see a bunch of great launches. Like September 12th is a pretty loaded day. On September 12th, we have Chernobyl again, which is a go back in time Chernobyl game. We have Frenzy Extinction coming from Click Games, also on September 12th. Then we have Hotel R&R Rockstar Simulator, also coming September 12th. Also, I will say the Rockstar game is just coming on Quest, whereas Frenzy Extinction is coming PC, VR, and Quest. And Chernobyl, again, previously mentioned, is PC, VR, Pico, PSVR 2, and Quest. Then we have Mannequin also dropping the same day, September 12th. So that day alone, we have 4 games dropping. And then September 17th, we have Hide the Corpse dropping, which we've been excited for that one.
Yep.
That one on September 12th is just launching on the Quest. That's not to say it's not coming to other platforms later, but just the Quest launches September 17th. Astro Hunters from Winkley Studios is coming September 19th to Pico and Quest. Dance 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 is coming September 19th to Quest. Then we have Escaping Wonderland coming to Pico and Quest September 26th. We're both so excited for that one. Metal Hellsinger VR coming to Quest September 26th. And then Impulse Playing with Reality is coming at no official date, just sometime in September to the Quest as well, too.
Well,
whole bunch of good stuff.
Good luck to all you competing for the September 12th date slot. No, I listened to the list
for it.
I listened to the list and the dates, and then it's really becomes like almost planning fights where there will be one winner in the group and there will be a loser in the group, and then there will be some in the in-between. It'd actually be fun to speculate which ones are going to come on top of the smorgasbord of games coming out. There's some I already feel a little concerned about, and there's others that I think are just positionally in a better position.
Mannequin has the push of fast travel, which helps for sure.
Yeah, I have Mannequin is one of the top ones for September 12th release.
I could see Hotel R&R Rockstar Simulator sticking out just because it sounds unique.
I think they're going to take a berry
to Chernobyl again.
Yep.
What do you think is going to be the lead? That one? Do you think Chernobyl again is going to walk out on top?
No, I think Mannequin.
You think Mannequin's going to be top?
Yeah, because they've done a really good job with their marketing push.
Their early access, their beta.
And
it's fast travel.
A lot of people have gotten to play it. I've played it. I played it with I think Jamie and Henry, if I remember properly. Because that was my first real
play session
in real life, quote unquote, wink wink, with Henry, other than communicating in Discord and such.
And now we've seen him twice this year.
And it's like the feedback from everyone who plays it. It's, if it's your style of game and you can get over that, you'll love it, and it's still good to see people who are still getting their hands on it being like, a lot better than I thought it was going to be for sure. The other ones, I just don't see any real marketing push on.
Not yet. And September 12th is
the most I've heard about Chernobyl is from us. And I'm in dead why, dude. Like, I'm dead serious. I don't.
Hotel R&R sounds cool. It's just
I've seen a little with it, and I'm actually personally excited for it. But if I look at what were the other 12th dates, because there was a couple more.
It was those four. It was also Frenzy Extinction. So it was Chernobyl again, Frenzy Extinction, Hotel R&R, and Mannequin.
No, Frenzy's the click game ones.
Yep.
Yeah, they're
So they have a little existing publisher push as well too. It's just tough when you have 4 games dropping on the same day. We're not fans of that style.
Well,
not when there's 5 days in the week.
As long as
the work week, 7 in a whole week.
But no one's gonna go buy those 4 games in a day.
No, that's the thing.
So you send 4 in a battle. I've already picked the one I think that'll be at the top, and that'll be Mannequin.
So it'll be interesting. I don't like when games are competing with each other, and then even then, like Hide the Corpse drops September 17th, but then 2 days later, you also have Astro Hunters and Dance 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 coming, which I don't know what Dance 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 is, but it sounds fun.
At least Hide the Corpse has their own
2-day waiting period. Yeah.
So they have no competition so that's enough for them. And again, they have a great marketing campaign. They did a great funny trailer for or at least a handful of trailers. For
good 70s theme to it.
Yeah. But you know what you're getting. This is going to be funny. It's going to, and then, those other 2, yeesh.
Unfortunately, September 26th features 2 very hyped games with Escaping Wonderland, which we're so hyped for, and then Metal Hellsinger VR, which is a port of the existing highly popular Metal Hellsinger game.
I would bank on
Escaping Wonderland on those two.
Wonderland.
And that's unfortunate to Metal Hellsinger, which is a popular
but they
VR
have
port.
their own fan base pre-built, so I don't think it's going to be...
At least with those just being 2 games, maybe we will see consumers pick up both, as they're both so hyped. But it's just never good when you see games compete with each other.
Both are... It's unique because both couldn't be more opposite.
That's
from
what
each
I'm
other,
saying. They're also such
are,
vastly different.
But both are their own unique game that's going to attract its own audience. You know, there are some that will play, Escaping Wonderland. They will never touch that other game,
and vice versa.
So it's a smart release date for both of them.
Yeah, I think that's
it's not impacting.
I think that's much less competitive than we see on the September 12th.
September 12th, you're going to have some people that take
a beating.
I would actually. I mean, I'm not no dog in the hunt either way, but there's 2 that I would shift dates on.
But when do you shift it to?
Next month. I would look at the releases for next month
with Batman,
or I'd go up against
with Batman. Batman's next month.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, that might be the best of the worst.
I would go up against Hide the Corpse.
Yeah.
If I had any ability to, I'd be like, you know what? I need to get mine to a cleaner date with less games coming out that same date. And the only one that's open this month is Hide the Corpse.
And we see kind of that same vastly different genre situation on the 19th with Astro Hunters and Dance Dance Dance. I don't know what Dance 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 is, but Astro Hunters being a PvE extraction-based game. And then Dance 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 just sounds like a rhythm game, right? I mean, those are 2 pretty different style genres. There will be some player overlap, but
I think Astro Hunters will take it.
I think so.
The 2.
Lankley Studios says, they already have some hype and everything like that. People like us, we're excited for it. So, man, there's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Just in the work week, I wouldn't recommend to drop a game on a weekend, but we don't need to drop them all on the same day. I like that, like you said.
There's too many games, not enough days.
Well, so I like what they're doing with Hide the Corpse, that Hide the Corpse has its own day.
I don't if I'm releasing September 12th. I'm picking up my phone Monday morning.
Being like, can I also release September 17th?
Can you pull me off of the 12th schedule, which benefits everyone? It's like just thin out the horde a little there. But again, it's not me.
Then look, this is just what we know about. I mean, when we were looking at the upcoming games for September before, we didn't see the Shogun's Empire game. So there might be some shadow drops like that along the way as well, too. So
good luck to you.
September, and then looking at the list of what's coming in October that we'll talk about next week. September and October are 2 loaded months. Yeah. And then we don't even know about November, December, possible new headsets dropping. Let's see what the rest of 2024 brings. What a hell of a year it's been, though.
That headset's dropping in 2 weeks.
What a hell of a year. Which, the rumor is that it uses Fresnel lenses, the lenses of the Quest 2.
Yeah.
If that's the case.
But with color pass-through.
Yeah. And Quest 3 processing power.
So
how big are the Quest 3 lenses to you? To me, they're a pretty big thing. I would pay extra.
I had
for
a better
them.
sweet spot with the 2.
What do you mean?
Figure that out.
What do you mean?
I feel like I see more of the other lenses than I did with the 2. The 2 I had, it's like when I set the spacing that's fine. I never saw like
on your visor part, how you can click it 4 ways, how close or far
I've
do you have
tried every way.
I do mine all the way back is how I do mine.
I think that's currently how mine is. It comes stock, I think, all the way down. But yeah, no, it doesn't matter. I can still see.
I don't have that issue.
I can still see the
overlapping of the lenses. I've heard people talk about that before. I've never had that issue.
%. So for that reason alone, if I could get the clarity of the pancake lenses on a Quest 2 lens, then for someone like me who like found a nicer sweet spot with the 2.
I love my Quest 3 lenses. I can't go back to the Quest 2 lenses personally.
Well, you say that, but if you had issue, you would.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I said
if I could put
with me personally,
if it's got the same processing power and I put that on and I don't see any crossover, it's already a better lens for me because no matter what, it's always going to be there for me.
So let's see. Quest 3S could be a game changer.
especially on the pocketbook too.
For me personally, heavy disclaimer, for me personally, who has no overlapping with the lenses, I love my pancakes. Love my pancakes.
Yeah, I love them because they're color.
I love them because of the clarity. I can look anywhere in them and have full. I have no sweet spot on the Quest.
But I can't
3.
compare them to the. I mean, on the Quest 2.
On the Quest 2, I have to look in a specific spot for it to be clear. On the Quest 3, I can look at them anywhere, and I never have any blurry at any point.
So you
Nice.
know, and that's probably the case because I haven't put on my 2, but I just know that I have no.
We'll do a
overlap.
follow up. We'll do a follow up next week. How about that?
I'm all pissed off about it just because I have the little bit of.
I'm gonna pee myself if you put on your Quest 2 and you're like, dude, I see an overlap.
No, I remember I don't because
We got to do a
we
follow
first
up on
got
this
the
next
3s.
week, though. We got to do a follow up on this
all
next
right,
week.
fair enough.
But the Quest 3S, I'm really excited for.
So,
Last piece of news.
lastly, finally, it was a long one.
Ooh-wee.
Meta has announced its full program schedule for MetaConnect 2024. So if you are not attending, but you still want to view, because they always stream to
They're just
the,
gonna attend virtually.
They'll even, that's pretty much how it goes. Like you can attend.
That was our
Click this
invitation,
link
past
and-
links, or
and
past years.
and you can attend this virtually. But if that's your case, and I know a lot of people will be, I would actually assume thousands of people will be, you can actually get the
The full program.
itinerary
Mhm.
of MetaConnect 2024.
Which I was hearing some whispers that there wasn't going to be that much VR stuff, which turned out false. When you look out the program schedule, it's start to finish both days with VR stuff and mixed reality stuff.
I guess it depends on how you look at the schedule or what you would interpret as VR stuff. Because that's what got me thinking because I've heard people say it too, but is like talking about VR stuff or is actual new technology of VR stuff. So I think people see it different.
All I'll say is it looks like that you can spend the whole day looking at stuff related to VR content.
Yes.
And that might be developer insight stuff.
Correct.
That might be
More people related than technology.
that might be maintaining communities or creating social apps or creating mixed reality apps.
And
but it's all VR related.
And what do we really know? Because you think they're really going to throw everything out there.
And
so,
who knows what the big thing is that
We'll
Mark
see.
Zuckerberg keynote speech.
yeah.
So that's the bread and butter.
Which interestingly, on one of the days, it's like I did not see him listed as speaking at all.
No, I think he only speaks the first day on the kickoff keynote, which kicks it all off.
Yeah.
But I got to say, I am so excited to see the Meta campus in person.
Yeah. I mean, I'm assuming we're not seeing the whole thing, but
No.
a proportion we're allowed to stand in, and that's where I will stand.
Disneyland for VR stuff, it's just going to be
Disneyland for technology, dude.
Yeah, there's so much innovation happening there.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm excited.
I'm pretty pumped.
Yeah.
Won't lie.
Like I think we talked about it last week. I'm excited for the food too. I've always heard good things about Meta food.
I hope it lives up to the
Meta
hype,
food.
and that's the arrangements that are in place, and we're not somewhere else where those options don't exist.
That's totally possible.
It's 100% possible. So I just hope I haven't hyped up that aspect because we're food lovers. So you say food, it's like, but can you get a doner kebab?
It's like 7-Eleven sandwiches, like those refrigerator sandwiches. You're like,
Help
what?
yourself.
What? Peanut butter and jellies?
Would you like some wicked old coffee?
A bunch of Uncrustables?
Uncrustables. We got Lunchables for everyone. No, I'm sure that's not how they roll. But I'm either way.
Fish
I'm excited.
fillets.
I can't wait to when we get back and we can talk about it.
Fish fillet sitting in the sun.
Firsthand experience at Meta headquarters is pretty exciting to me.
Yeah, no, I'm so excited. I'm always been a big fan of Meta Connect while we've been covering VR. So,
Dude, watch it every year.
this will be our first year being there in person. So I definitely am grateful of that opportunity, and I'm so excited to be able to come back and report back with what we were able to see and experience firsthand. So, anything else you wanna talk about that we didn't cover? Another long one. We've been going long.
If there was, I'd save it till next week.
Yeah. Since we've only been doing one episode a week, we've been going long style.
Darn.
Yeah. Sometimes we gotta have some fun.
No, I'm good.
You always gotta have some fun. We gotta keep it fresh. Keep it fresh.
Fresh and exciting.
So next week we'll probably be starting our banking episodes time for while we're gone at Connect. And then we'll be kicking off our news and interview season again from there. So stay tuned. Don't forget, subscribe, rate us 5 stars, help us hit 100 reviews on Spotify. But you don't only have to rate us 5 stars on Spotify. You can also do that on...
You can rate us 5 stars wherever you want. There's no limit.
Subscribe, like, comment on YouTube and now Spotify. Like I said, the algorithm gods love that stuff. So be sure to smash that like button, as you always say.
Mm-hmm.
And join the Patreon. Join the famous Ruff Talk VR Discord. And we'll check you out next week.
Adios.
Ciao, ciao.